All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we are breaking down a truly chilling, completely unexplained sequence of events. We're going to trace the exact timeline of what's become known as the Ravi incident. We'll explore exactly how a completely quiet night escalated into, well, an absolute nightmare. I'm going to walk you through this story step by step so we can really analyze what makes this whole scenario so deeply unsettling. I want you to put yourself in this exact scenario as we trace this terrifying timeline. Just imagine, you're alone in your house, it is pitch black outside, and suddenly, your phone screen lights up. You look down, you're probably expecting a wrong number, maybe an emergency from a friend, right? But instead, you see your own digits staring right back at you. How would you even react to that? Just keep that thought in the back of your mind as we document Ravi's exact experience. Section 1. The 2:13 a.m. awakening. Let's look at how this incident actually begins. So we start in the early hours of the morning, exactly at 2:13 a.m. Ravi is awake, and he's surrounded by this heavy, really uncomfortable dead silence. You know the kind, right? No dogs barking, no vehicles passing by on the street, just nothing. It's that specific kind of isolation that just makes you feel incredibly vulnerable. So to break that creeping tension, he's just mindlessly scrolling his phone. Then, out of nowhere, an unknown call breaks the quiet. He actually ignores it at first, but then the phone rings again. Annoyed, he finally answers. So Ravi answers that second ring, and for a few seconds, there's absolutely zero sound on the line. But then, he hears this faint, incredibly bizarre whisper, right before the line just instantly disconnects. He asks, "Who is this?" But he gets no reply at all, just a completely dead line. But the sheer impossibility of the situation really hits him when he pulls the phone away to look at the screen. The caller ID isn't hidden. It's not some weird scrambled international code. It's his own phone number calling him. Literally his own number. Moving on to Section 2, the 5-minute warning. This is where the countdown begins. At first, Ravi tries to just laugh it off, thinking it's gotta be some bizarre network glitch. But when his phone rings again, still flashing his own number, curiosity just gets the better of him. He hesitates for a second, but he answers. The very moment it connects, he hears heavy breathing. His voice is shaking now, and Ravi demands to know who's there. And then, he gets this absolutely chilling response. The voice on the phone actually claims to be him. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is this ticking clock. The voice gives him a super strict 5-minute deadline. It tells him, very specifically, that in exactly 5 minutes, someone is going to knock on his front door. The voice then gives him an explicit, non-negotiable instruction. Do not open it, no matter what happens. And then, the call disconnects. Section 3. The knock at the door. The visitor arrives. Okay, so the call drops. Ravi's just sitting there, frozen, staring intently at his front door as 1, 2, 3 agonizing minutes pass by in complete, uninterrupted silence. Then, right on schedule, that silence is violently broken. And it isn't just a frantic little tap. It's a slow, heavy, incredibly deliberate knock. It's exactly the kind of sound that instantly makes your heart start pounding out of your chest. Then, a voice calls out from the other side of the door. It says, "Ravi, it's me, open the door." And here is the massive psychological twist. It sounds exactly like his friend Amit. Amit even tells him to open it fast. Naturally, this fills Ravi with a huge wave of relief. This terrifying unknown threat suddenly has a familiar face and a familiar voice. So, he walks toward the door, completely ready to let his friend inside. But just as Ravi's hand reaches for the handle, the pattern repeats itself. His phone buzzes with yet another call from his own number. He answers it, totally trembling at this point, and the voice on the other end isn't whispering anymore. It is screaming at him to stop. Ravi protests. He says it's just Amit out there. But the voice slowly and very firmly replies, "That's not Amit." And then the threat escalates instantly. That slow knocking, it turns into aggressive, violent banging. The voice outside completely morphs. It completely drops the friendly facade of Amit and becomes this angry, distorted, almost inhuman demand to enter. It just starts screaming Ravi's name, demanding that he open that door. Gripped by absolute total fear, Ravi asks the phone what to do, and the voice simply says, "Hide." So we see this frantic, rapid-fire sequence of pure panic as he tries to secure himself. He runs away from the front door, retreats into his bedroom, throws the deadbolt, and plunges the room into absolute darkness.
Let's move to section 4, the enemy inside. This is where we get a truly terrifying twist.
See, this is where Ravi's entire reality flips upside down through some classic misdirection. Outside, that loud, aggressive, relentless banging that literally sounds like something is trying to physically break the front door down, it suddenly just stops. It's replaced by dead silence. Inside, Ravi is sitting in his dark, locked sanctuary, totally believing he has successfully isolated himself from the danger. So Ravi slowly exhales in the dark. He asks the silent phone, which by the way is still connected to the call, if it's over. But before he can even get an answer, he hears a noise that honestly shouldn't be possible in a locked, empty room. A soft creaking sound. And it's originating from inside the bedroom with him. I mean, his blood absolutely runs cold. He turns slowly toward the bedroom mirror and realizes the true threat wasn't trying to get in. It was already inside, waiting for him. He looks into the glass and experiences the sheer horror of the uncanny valley, because he sees himself standing right behind him. It has the exact same face, the exact same clothes, but it's wearing this twisted, deeply unnatural smile. The entity in the room then speaks this horrific realization out loud. As it finally clicks for Ravi that the voice on the phone wasn't the monster, but was actually the warning system, he screams and drops the still active phone right to the floor. Finally, Section 5, the morning after. Let's look at the investigation. To wrap up this explainer, we really have to look at the physical evidence left behind the following morning when concerned neighbors finally come to investigate. And these facts, they really cement the sheer impossibility of this whole event. It's the ultimate locked room mystery. The house is completely locked from the inside. There are zero signs of forced entry anywhere on the property. Absolutely nothing broke in. But inside that bedroom, the mirror is shattered into pieces, and Ravi is just completely gone. That impenetrable room didn't keep the monster out. It actually became a trap that kept Ravi in. And on the screen of that dropped phone, resting on the floor amid all that broken glass, the active call from Ravi's own number delivers this final, haunting whisper before the timeline concludes. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Seriously, think about your own bedroom tonight. Look at the mirrors on your wall. If you received that warning call and you heard that terrifying banging on your front door, would you recognize the trap before you turned around? Would you realize that the real danger wasn't trying to get inside, but was already locked in there with you? Well, that is definitely something to think about the next time you're enjoying the dead silence of the early morning.